2,
And this
3.
is how it goes.
Hello everyone, I know it has been a while since a video has come out, so we are long overdue for a video, and speaking of, we are long overdue for this video. So, funny story, see, back in June of 2018, unbeknownst to me, I was tagged in a video. Not sure what tag means, but I followed up on that, and it basically means I have to make the same type of video myself. And so yeah, so I was tagged in a video, like I said, unbeknownst to me. I had no clue. And so, over the summer, I was informed that, oh, in fact, I had been tagged in a video that I never made. Like I said, this was June 2018, and so it had been a full calendar year that I had not done it. So, then, for the entire summer, I was working a lot in order to make as much money as possible. So, I couldn't get it done over the summer. And within the first couple weeks of school, I've been focusing on getting my homework done on time. However, I finally see that I have enough opportunity to be able to finally make this video. So, this is my trainer tag. Pay no attention to the fact that this video is 15 months late. That is not important at all. We are going to completely disregard that that fact exists, and we are going to pretend like it is July 2018 when I'm actually getting this video done on time. So, that being said, let's get right into the video. The first question that was posed in sort of the video that I was tagged in, by the way, shout out to Daxd Leader. He's the guy who tagged me. If you guys don't know him, I will try and remember to put his stuff in the description if I remember to. If I don't, then comment that I didn't do it, and then I'll go back and I'll edit it back in. But the first question of the video that I am being asked is, what trainer class would I be in the world of Pokemon? It makes sense because I'm a Pokemon YouTuber, so it makes sense that I would, of course, have to answer this question. And so, after thinking about this for a grand total of about 120 seconds, and looking through a list of different trainer classes, I have concluded that if I were to be a trainer class, I would be the Sightseer, most commonly found in the Alola games. Now, why would I be the Sightseer trainer class? Well, first off, if I were in the Pokemon world, I would 100% want to be traveling around, meeting as many different Pokemon, meeting as many different people as I possibly could, meeting as many different cultures as I possibly could. So, Sightseer makes perfect sense. Also makes sense how, in real life, I have had the fantastic opportunity of getting to travel to a lot of cool places. I have gone from a decently small, I don't know if small is the correct word, Midwestern town to Las Vegas, LA. I have visited Grand Canyon. I have visited, and then I've visited the Eastern Seaboard, being Philadelphia, Washington D.C., New York, Boston. I've seen Niagara Falls. I have been to Hong Kong. I have been to Manila. I've been to lots of different places. I've been to Cancun. That's another place that I've been to that was really cool. And so overall, due to the fact that I like to travel in real life, and due to the fact that if I were in the Pokemon world, of course I would want to travel. Of course I would want to, meet as many different things as I could. I would 100% be the Sightseer. And not only that, but the player model actually I think he kind of looks like me a little bit. He's got that super long, thin giraffe neck, and he's got a little bit of brown hair. His hair is a little bit longer than me, or longer than mine. But, you know, he's got the backpack, he's got the t-shirt, he's got the sunglasses. Sunglasses are really important. Sunglasses and hat are really important. But besides, but yeah, outside of the appearance similarities, I think that, yeah, if I were a trainer in the Pokemon world, I would 100% be the sightseer. I'd be going around seeing as many different things as I possibly could. So, next question. What region would I want to grow up in? This is by far the easiest question I have ever had to answer in my entire life, because everyone who knows me knows that, you know, from the very early stages of my childhood, you know, from the time I first ever picked up a Pokemon game, I've been a Gen 3 kid. I'm a Gen 3 kid. First games, I believe, I'm nearly 100% sure they were Ruby and Sapphire, particularly Ruby. I had Ruby for, I had a Silver Game Boy Advance SP, and my friend had a Pokemon game that I watched him play, and it was really cool. So I got one out of our school used to give us these things called like book orders, and you could order books and stuff for you to read and stuff. But like there'd be a small like video game section, and you know, of course they had Pokemon in there, and so I asked for it. And so, you know, I always consider myself a Gen 3 kid, and not only did I actually grow up in this region, because I still own my original copy of Pokemon Ruby, and I still own my Game Boy Advance SP, but, you know, not only do I actually feel like I grew up in the Hoenn region, but I feel like this is one of the most diverse regions you could possibly expect, from, you know, the small towns like Little Root, Oldale. You got the big cities with like corporations like Rustboro, Slateport, and a lot of people rip on the Hoenn region because it just has too much water. Like, I think that's what IGN said about it. It just has too much water. I think it's perfectly balanced, because if you look at it, the water kind of makes like an L on the map, and then the land makes an opposite L. So it feels like it's perfectly balanced, as all things should be, a great man once said. And so, definitely, I would want to grow up in the Hoenn region. Like I said, you know, me being the sightseer trainer class, I feel like you can get a small taste of just about everything in the Hoenn region. You can, you know, visit a bunch of small islands and get that real tropical vibe setting. You can go see Mount Chimney. You can go see Meteor Falls. But that all pales in comparison to the Moss Deep Space Center. I would love to go see that. I mean, just space centers in general. When I went to the Smithsonian, like I mentioned that I went to DC, I went to the Smithsonian. Best part was Air and Space. I even got a little collector lapel pin from there, and Air and Space was super cool, and I don't see why my opinions would be any different in the Pokemon world. Moss Deep, super cool. Not to mention Steven's from there. Steven's kind of a cool dude. And, you know, just a short ways away, you've got the Battle Tower. I mean, if I were to pick a city that I would probably want to grow up in, it would probably be Moss Deep, just because, like, you have the Space Center right here. You know, Evergrande is just down the waterway a little bit, to sort of give you that you know, aspirations of like, oh, you can be the very best. It's so close nearby. You're also really close to Lily Cove. You've got the huge department store, basically anything you need. Mount Pyre is right here, and you're also very close to the Undersea Cavern, so you get to hear of all the legends of Groudon and Kyogre and everything like that. And yeah, I just think that growing up in the Hoenn region would by far be the best. Like I said, this was the easiest question. You know, just the vast amount of different things you can see and do. Now, I haven't even mentioned the abandoned ship yet. That would be kind of cool to explore. Granite Cave, too. Just everything about this region is spectacular. Not to mention, I would visit Mount Pyre on a regular basis because I love ghost types. Ghost types are, in my opinion, one of the best types. Their designs are just so cool. And so yeah, Mount Pyre being so close to Moss Deep, like that, I would love to be in this region. Just love to visit, see everything that there is to see there. And yeah, if I were to pick a region to grow up in, it would be the Hoenn region, Gen 3. So, the final question that was proposed in the video is, what 6 Pokemon would I have on my team? And after careful consideration, I have picked what I believe would be the 6 Pokemon that I would have on my team. Now, I know when Dax did his video, he based part of his picks were based on competitive synergy between the Mons. I am not going for that at all. What I'm going for in picking my 6 is, what 6 Pokemon do I feel like I have the closest personal attachment to? And those Pokemon that I feel that, you know, because I have this close personal attachment to them, that I would, there's no way I wouldn't catch one if I were in the Pokemon world. There's no way I wouldn't catch one. So, starting from the very first Pokemon. Now, this Pokemon was gonna be on the team no matter what. I would always have this on the team no matter what. And that is what I consider to be my first ever Pokemon. So, my first video games were Ruby and Sapphire. However, I actually bought a pack of trading cards before that as sort of my taste of what Pokemon could be. And so, because there was a kid, like I said, there was a kid at school who, he had the cards, and he also had the video games, and so I went out and got a pack of cards first, just because of how cheap it was, like $3-4 for a pack. And so, the very first Pokemon that I ever opened up out of that pack of cards was a Snorunt card. And so to this day, I fully consider Snorunt to be my first ever official Pokemon. Now, obviously Snorunt is not fully evolved, so due to the fact that Snorunt was my first ever Pokemon, I still have my original Snorunt card in a binder in my closet where I keep all my old cards. I still have it, and so due to the fact that I consider Snorunt to be my first ever Pokemon ever, and due to the fact that I love Ghost type so much, like I have already mentioned, Ghost is one of my favorite, if not my favorite type. So there is no way in the world I would not have a Frostlass on my team. Hands down, like, just Frostlass. You take my first ever Pokemon, and then you give it an evolution that gives it a Ghost typing. Huh, now you have my interest. So, I've already explained why Frostlass would be on the team. First ever Pokemon, I would of course evolve it into Frostlass instead of Glalie. Like, why would I ever evolve it into Glalie? Glalie, its stats are just weird. And Frostlass has, you know, if we do want to talk competitively, Frostlass has a nice speed, has access to Destiny Bond, can, you know, give a bunch of those shenanigans, can set entry hazards, can Will-O-Wisp things. Frostlass is just overall a nice Pokemon, and there is no way that Frostlass would not be on my team. It is my first ever, I still consider it, that and Snorunt, my first ever Pokemon. Now, moving on to the second one. This one should also come as no surprise, seeing as how I made a 40-minute video explaining why this Pokemon is good. For those of you who have not seen that, go watch that video. It's probably the video I uploaded before this one, because all of my friends call it a spinning trash can. It's not a spinning trash can, it's valid. It's a valid Pokemon to use. I used this Pokemon not only on multiple Draft League teams, I have used this Pokemon in my original playthrough of Gold and Silver, not Heart Gold and Soul Silver, the original Gold and Silver that I went back and played when I got a little bit older after I realized that I'd never played Gen 2. I went back, played the original Gold and Silver, and I had this Mon on my team, and I made sure that I had this Mon on my team because it is cool. There is no way I would ever not have Hitmontop. Hitmontop is awesome. I made a 40-minute video as to why it's awesome. And to really talk about how awesome it is, it would really just be redundant because, again, I made a whole video on why Hitmontop is awesome. So, I mean, I've used it in a playthrough of a game. I've drafted it multiple times. I even like, people even call it like a dumb design. I like it. I like its design. It's literally a top with a body attached to it. I think it's not. I think it's kind of cool how you just take a top and you just stick a person on it, and there you got Hitmontop. And yeah, I love its design, and I've already mentioned all of the competitive aspects in a completely different video. So, the second mon on my team would be Hitmontop. No way Hitmontop is not on the team. Now, third choice. Pretty surprising that I haven't mentioned this mon yet, seeing as how it is the new mascot of my YouTube channel. But, you know, every trainer has that mon that they're super attached to, and so whenever you're attached to a certain Pokemon that is capable of Mega Evolution, that's your Mega. You know, when you form a strong bond with this Pokemon, it's able to Mega Evolve, and due to the fact that I used this Pokemon back in Ruby and Sapphire, I'm a huge fan of this Pokemon, especially its backstory. There is no way that, you know, there's no way that I would not have Mega Banette on my team. So, to sort of, why would I have Mega Banette on my team? First off, it is the coolest looking Mega there is. Like, if I have to have a Mega, I'm picking Mega Banette. There is no way I'm not having. Look at how cool this thing is. Its backstory is even awesome too, and not like it's kind of sad, but also at the same time like, so okay, so for those of you who don't know, Banette, and then therefore also including Mega Banette, are sort of, you know, when a child was done playing with its toys, kind of like Toy Story, you know, the kid grows up, and the child gets rid of the toy ends up becoming possessed and going back after the child. Now, when reading those Pokedex entries as a kid, I'm like, oh, that's so incredibly sad. Instead of chasing after your former owner, Banette, how about you just let me love you? It was kind of like how everyone reacted to Mimikyu's backstory when Mimikyu first came out. It was like, oh, Mimikyu, you don't have to pretend to be like Pikachu. I will just love you. That's me and Banette. You don't have to, you know, avenge yourself or anything like that. Just be a part of my team, and I will give you a place on the team. I will treat you like one of the 6 best Pokemon in the entire world. And if I have to have a Mega, it's gonna be this thing. Look at its design. Its design is absolutely amazing. Look at how cool that looks. And of course, I love ghost types in general. So, Mega Banette is the 3rd member of the team, and it is also the Mega on my team. Next. So now we're starting to get into the more complicated ones. And from here on out until the end of the list, you know, guaranteed I was going to have Frostlass, Hitmontop, Mega Banette. Those 3 were going to be on the team no matter what. The last 3 ones I really had to sit down and think. It's like, okay, you know, what other Pokemon do I have a special attachment to? And so this next Pokemon, as a kid, you know, playing the DS games, eventually after Ruby and Sapphire, I ended up getting Diamond and Pearl, and, you know, this was right after Diamond and Pearl came out. Everybody moved all of their Pokemon to Diamond and Pearl, as did I, and sort of playing the next stage of games. And so, one mon that I brought with me from Gen 3, I brought it with me from Ruby and Sapphire to Diamond and Pearl. With Diamond and Pearl, I would often play against my family members, particularly my cousins, as we all had copies of either Diamond, Pearl, or Platinum, after Platinum came out. We all had copies of either of those 3 games. So we would always battle each other, right? And we were so young that we didn't really have a set rule on Ubers, and so we just brought all of our Ubers, or some of us brought our Ubers, and other of us brought our favorite Mons. Me personally back then, as a kid, I didn't like Ubers. I thought that they were overpowered. And I just didn't want to use them. I wanted to use the Mons that I liked. That I liked the design. I like, you know, certain things about them. And so, when playing against one of my cousins in particular that I felt like I could never ever beat, in one of our battles, this Pokemon that I brought up from Gen 3, it ended up knocking at it. It was this last Pokemon versus his, I want to say either Giratina and Rayquaza or Giratina and Ho-Oh. He had a Ho-Oh from somewhere, but this Pokemon was somehow able to knock out both the Giratina and whatever his last Uber was. I forget what it is. So due to just, you know, bringing it with me from Gen 3 to Gen 4 and being able to use it in battle to defeat some, you know, some family members that I never felt like I could defeat in the past, this Pokemon has earned a spot on the team, and that is, of course, Milotic. Between Recover and back then Scald did not exist, so between Recover, Surf, and Ice Beam, I was able to sort of beat out the last couple members of the team, and Milotic won me my first battle using regular Mons versus Ubers. And being a little kid and seeing that was so incredibly satisfying. You know, it gave me faith that I can use regular Mons and I can take down these absolute titans that other people were using. So thanks to Milotic, you know, Milotic helped me overcome one of the several hurdles in my Pokemon experience growing up, and then Milotic just in general, like, it looks cool, and you know, again, I would love to be in the Hoenn region. Milotic's from the Hoenn region. It all makes sense. I love Milotic, and there's no way that Milotic would not be on the team. Now, next, you guys have probably been waiting to hear this Mon, but I haven't brought it up yet just because I feel like these four, I feel like, definitely deserve spots on the team ahead of this Mon. This next Mon, most of my history with it has been in Draft League format. I love using it in Draft League format. I think it's extremely versatile. It can even be very toxic at times, depending on what set you run. And after talking to people and saying, okay, well, what Mons do you guys, you know, what do you consider me for? And this Mon, along with Hitmontop, in terms of Draft League, this Mon and Hitmontop were the two across the board. They're like, okay, we know you for using this Mon in Draft League. And so, after drafting it a couple times, I really like it. I like how versatile it is. And finding success with it in Draft League, but also having a personal connection to it that I'll explain in a second. I don't see a team in which I do not have Togekiss. So, like I said, when I was a kid, I had Ruby and Sapphire, eventually upgraded to Diamond and Pearl. When I loved Ruby and Sapphire so much, I went out and I bought Fire Red and Leaf Green as well. And during your playthrough of Fire Red and Leaf Green, when you get to the 7 islands, you are given an egg, and that egg will eventually hatch into Togepi. So, after leading it through Fire Red and Leaf Green, eventually trading it over to my Ruby game, and then evolving it into Togetic, you know, I'd had that Togepi with me for a pretty long time, and then finally transferring it to Diamond and Pearl, along with Milotic, I really felt that, like, okay, you know, this thing's been with me for a long time. And then I found out it had an evolution in Diamond and Pearl. So then, after, I believe, giving it a shiny stone, I was able to evolve my Togetic into Togekiss. So not only do I have a little bit of a personal connection with it, I raised it all the way from a Togepi from Fire Red and Leaf Green, all the way to Togekiss in Diamond and Pearl. And due to my success in Draft League with this Mon, I love Togekiss. I like its design. And, you know, I think Togekiss rightfully deserves a spot on my team. So, finally, we are down to our last slot. And there's a lot of mons I considered for this slot. I considered Medicham. I considered Azumarill. I considered Flygon. I considered... What else did I consider? I considered one of the Reggies, possibly. Although I felt like I didn't want to put legendaries on this list just because they're so hard to obtain. I considered putting Relicanth on this list. Again, I'm listing a lot of Gen 3 mons. Because I have a lot of connections to Gen 3 mons. So... I mean, if you look across my team, outside of Hitmontop, every mon connects to Gen 3 in some way. Togepi, Fire Red Leaf Green, Banette, Frostlass, reduced down to a Snorunt, all from Hoenn, Milotic from Hoenn. This last mon is a little bit different than the 5 that you see on the screen so far. And this last mon... So when I first joined Discord, and I first wanted to start playing in Draft League, I didn't know what profile picture to use. So I'm like, okay, I really like this Pokemon, and so I made this Pokemon my profile picture. And I really like this Pokemon for a number of reasons. It's kind of like Togekiss in that it gained a Gen 4 evolution, but... You know, I've always liked this Pokemon's design. I've always liked what it's capable of in battle, and I also really like its unique typing. I think its unique typing is very, very cool. So, due to the fact that I used it in Diamond and Pearl, so I have that sort of younger self connection to it. I used this Pokemon as my first ever Discord profile picture, and... due to the fact that I love its design, I love its typing, everything like that. The final mon I have decided to put on my team is Mamoswine. So, for those of you who remember me from that long ago, my first ever Discord profile picture was a picture of Swinub sleeping. And so naturally, Swinub eventually evolves into Piloswine and then Mamoswine. So, I have that younger self connection to it. I still used it in young games that I played when I was a kid, Diamond and Pearl, and, you know, having that connection to it, having used it in those games, along with all these other Pokemon, I think the final Pokemon on my team would be Mamoswine. So, that is the complete team from front to back: Frostlass, Hitmontop, Mega Banette, Milotic, Togekiss, and Mamoswine. Like I said, I'm not really caring about competitive synergy or anything like that. These are just these 6 Pokemon I feel like I have the best emotional attachment to, and there's no way I would not have these Pokemon with me if I were in the Pokemon world. So finally, I was tagged. That's the reason I made this video, is because I was told to make the video. So rightfully so, I felt like I should, at the very end of this video, name a couple of select individuals who I would like to make this same type of video. So first off, who's doing this next? Thou who I have tagged. First off, I have tagged Lamrin. As of recording this video, Lamrin does not have a YouTube channel. He was a big Lamrin and got his YouTube channel taken down or something like that. And so... really, Lamrin, you need to get your channel back, and you need to record this video. Why? Because I said so. It's also funny that you don't have a channel. Ha, that's funny. Next person is Zachy. So, you know who you are. You also don't have a YouTube channel, so I have no clue how you're going to make this. And frankly, I've never even heard your voice before, even though I've been in call with you. So, yeah, you're definitely making this video next. And yeah, you're going to make the video next. So, after Zachy, I have selected Ishan. Ishan is by far the greatest helper in my front office, and probably the person who has pushed me the most in order to apply myself in Draft League. So, naturally, I don't believe he has a YouTube channel either, so that is another reason. Ishan, go make a channel, go make the video. be cool. Next up, Ben, Shiny Sableye. But Ben is not, the Shiny Sableye version of Ben is not allowed to make this video until he watches Sword Art Online first. It was a great tragedy that was brought up to me the other day, the fact that he has an Asuna body pillow, but yet has never seen Sword Art Online. So, Ben, make the video, but you're not allowed to until you watch Sword Art Online first. At least the first season, because that's as far as I got. Then, next, so we had Ben the Shiny Sableye version. Next, I have decided to tag Ben the Shapiro version. So, I do not have a Twitter, so if anyone wants to go on Twitter, link this video, send it to him. I don't even know if he has a Twitter. Just get a hold of him whatever way that you guys can. Let him know that I've tagged him in this video and that he needs to make his version of this video. Maybe he'll do it on his radio show. I have no idea. I don't even know if he knows what Pokemon is. But yes, Ben, the Shapiro version, you have been tagged. Next, I have decided to tag the entire UPA and OLT servers just because I can. Just because I can. I would like to tag entire servers. You're all going to make the video because I just met you like a couple of days ago. And so yeah, you're all going to make the video. Every single one of you. And finally, the person I have tagged, the last person I have tagged is Batman. I know you're not dead. You lived in The Dark Knight Rises. And so I know that you exist. And you're going to totally make this video. You can't fool me. You're not fooling anyone. You can't even fool Alfred. So that is going to be it for this video. Thank you guys so much for watching, and whatever the next video is, I will see you guys then.